Hey, Hillside. Well, now that I've finished reading the other writings of Solomon, I've gotten back to Kings and Chronicles, picking up with Israel where Solomon left off. Now, Solomon is gone and passed away, and his son, Rehoboam, is going to be made king of Israel. And when the people find out about this, another man, Jeroboam, comes to Rehoboam and says, "Hey, your father, he made his burden on us heavy. Could you please lighten the burden on us, on your people?" And so Rehoboam, before he does anything, he, like a good ruler, goes to the advisors, goes to the council. These are the men, the older men who were counsel to his father, right? They were with Solomon, the wisest man to ever live. So, I'm going to assume, right, if they were leading with the wisest man ever, they probably had some really wise counsel to offer. Probably would have been good to listen to them, right? They've been proven, they've been here, they've done this. So they tell him, yeah, that's a good idea. You should be gracious to them, be a kind king, and they will follow you if you do this. And so what does he do? Rehoboam, naturally, as a young, foolish guy, abandons the word of those wise counsel and goes to his friends. And his friends say, "Oh no, you should say, you thought my father was bad? I'm going to be so much worse." And sure enough, he listens to his friends and goes out and says this. And Israel obviously is very upset, and they're like, "Well, why should we follow you then? We don't need a, a ruler from the line of David." And so they split off and they let Jeroboam lead them. And then Judah, however, is the only tribe that remains, the people in Judah, and Rehoboam leads over them. And so this causes this split of Judah and Israel that we see now for throughout the rest of the Old Testament. And they are fighting, going back and forth even, and all because this, like, God's chosen people divided and pitted against each other, all because Rehoboam didn't listen to the wise counsel and instead listened to his foolish friends. And then I thought, yeah, Proverbs, which is written by Solomon, by Rehoboam's father, right? And even written to Rehoboam and his other brothers. He wrote it for his sons in order for them to have prosperous lives and be a good leaders and good men. And he writes all in Proverbs about seeking counsel and in the abundance of counsel and advisors. And that's where that's always good. You should always seek counsel. And this is so true. We should seek counsel. However, the question I realized was, but whose counsel are you listening to? Are you seeking out counsel of wise people, people who have been where you have been, who have already walked ahead of you, who are also close to the Lord, following the Lord and listening to his voice and able to speak that to you? Is that the kind of counsel you're following? Or are you following the counsel that what you want to hear, right? Sometimes it's better to go to the ones, even if it's maybe it's not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. Or are you going to your friends or the people who just are or lesser or below you, and they just tell you what you want to hear because they're trying to get up, or they're just because they're your friends, and that's what friends do sometimes. And so yeah, what kind of counsel are you listening to? And when you get that, when you receive that counsel, are you just following blindly, or do you stew on that? Do you bring that to the Lord? Do you test it against Scripture and kind of verify it before you move forward? So, if Rehoboam would have just done that, who knows? Maybe they wouldn't have had that divided Israel, a house divided against itself. So that's what I have for you today. Seek counsel, but seek wise counsel as you go forward in your life and your walk with God. See you next time, Hillside.